Good morning, everyone. So it is Thursday morning, April 23rd. It is yet another dreary day out here in Western New York. We've made it all the way from 31 degrees up to 32. Great number for April. My understanding, based on the little snippet of the weather that I caught last night, we are tied for the number of snow days in April, or days with snow in April. Apparently we also had 8 days with snow just in 2000. It either said 2018 or 2016. I think it said 2016. And I don't clearly remember that. And I suspect that might be when I was in for my surgeries or getting the gallbladder issues going. Anyway, so today we are going to make that balloon bag button keep. I think we're going to do this over 2 days, just so that, hey, we don't rush too much, because there is a lot of pasteboard covering. So we have a visit from Miss Clara, who needs to get down and play with her paper. Thank you, dear. All right, so last night I was getting out materials, and I was quite excited to find a couple things. I keep my silks in different, like, what are they called? Sweater boxes, plastic sweater boxes, and they're classified by size. So I have fanciful utility cuts. So these are like the small scrap pieces. And then I have a box for hoods. There's actually 2 boxes at this point for hoods. And these are like half yard to full yard lengths. And then there's the bigger tote with the dress length. So there's this classification of silk system. And in the fanciful utility box, I apparently had left a couple projects. One is this little seashell I was trying to cover the interior of. Not completely happy with it, and I'm realizing some of the glue is actually not adhering quite as well. I do recall wanting to edge this, so that's a in-progress project that I might work on. And then I found, aren't these cute? All right, so here is one of the boots. I think I have the template for this up. If not, that might be appearing soon. And then one of the hats. So I went through this phase where all of the dollies needed Christmas hats. There are now more dollies than there are hats, I'm sure. So there were those. And then this guy. So this guy's a favorite. If you've been reading with us for a while, this is one of the rolled sewing cases that we did with the tin tubes that came from the Genesee Country Museum. So their tinsmith made us the cores here. So this is like a tin tube and the tin ends, and this is based off an original. It gives you a nice rigid case here. Mine caves in a little bit because I didn't put in the spools of thread that'll fit in there, but it does roll up really nice once they're in there. I got a pair of little needle pages in here and a nice big pocket. And I was really excited at the time to have the blue checks in 2 different sizes. So that guy is good to have. I am going to fill him up with some spools of thread and some other goodies and add him to the display box. All right, when I just say display box, that's kind of like in my planning head. I want to put together a real quick grab and go box or basket that has an assortment of different reproduction sewing cases in it, so that I can just grab the box and set up and talk about them. So that's on the things to do. I have time. All right, so let's move on. We are going to be making this balloon bag or button keep today. Okay, this also makes a really cute Christmas ornament, or it actually would have been really good for Easter too, because it's almost egg shaped. You can see how he opens there. Okay, so you can put your ball of thread, your buttons, or a gift in there. This is the perfect size for a piece of jewelry. And of course you can make these bigger or smaller as you like. Now let me show you some of the original directions here. All right, so the first piece, the first directions where the name balloon bag comes from is actually from a girl's own book, okay? And this was published in 1833. And I'll show you the extent of those directions right there at the top. All right, so Lydia Childs says, balloon bags. What is called a balloon bag is made of pasteboard covered with silk, and the edges bound neatly with narrow taste before they are sewed together. It may be made of 3 or 4 or 5 pieces, just as you fancy. In one place, the edges are not sewed together, in order to leave an opening for the ball of thread. Some are made large, some are made very small. This is the shape of the pieces. And here's the extent of that illustration, okay? We are going to be making ours with a petal shape, okay? Now, you may recognize this shape. It is the same shape that we use to make ball shapes. So the tomato or the apple that we made a couple weeks ago. All right. Now below this, I'll be sharing these on the blog post for you guys. This is from Peterson's in '69. And at this point, it's gone from carrying a ball of thread to carrying buttons. And you can see the ornamentation used for that. Now this one uses, I'm going to surmise 5 pieces of petals. Now keep in mind, if you're going to increase your petal number and you leave the petal the same size, it's going to make a wider, a fatter ball. If you want to keep that elongated shape, you're going to need to go with narrower petals. Okay? So on the post, I'm going to give you the little PDF here that has 2 different size petals. And you can increase or decrease that as you like, and there's some basic directions. This one, right there, I can tell you, this one I had done in like a green shot silk, and it's edged with simple cord, simple sew attach. If you're going to do these as ornaments, you can definitely make them as fancy as you like. All right, so materials. You're going to need pasteboard, silk scraps, some lining scraps, cotton's just fine, and then some ribbon, okay? Now let's start with talking about the pasteboard. This is a good opportunity to talk about the thickness of pasteboard. Generally, I'm finding shipping type pasteboard comes in 2 different thicknesses. You'll also notice this if you're using the pasteboard off the backs of notebooks. Some of it is very flexible and some of it is more rigid, okay? Let me see if I can put these side by side. There we go. You might be able to see that. The one on the top is about half the thickness of the one on the bottom. So we're going to say almost 1 millimeter and almost 2 millimeters. You can see how this flexes. This one does not, okay? So this more rigid one, I prefer this for boxes. If I'm doing single layer boxes, like my rather popular one with the double lids, this is a really good option. The pyramid boxes, the takeout boxes, all those gift boxes, this is a good option. All right. If I'm doing single layer ornaments, sometimes I'll use this. Anything that's going to have multiple layers, I like the more flexible one. I particularly like the flexible for this because if you look at this, this does have to curve, okay? It's not only curving this way, it's also curving around as well. And it has to be able to respond to the pinching for opening. So this is much more flexible. This is closer to the thickness that you're gonna find if you're using like a cereal box today. This is actually a really good project for a cereal box. You're gonna end up having 2 layers, so the cereal box might be just about right. Now, if you happen to be one of the miniaturists who are doing doll scale, I'm gonna recommend either cardstock or poster board for the smaller ones. That'll give you the flex there. All right. In terms of your silk, it's kind of sky's the limit on this one. You can go, I pulled out a bunch of checks and plaids here. I seem to be really low on my florals. I need to do something about that. This is actually the one we're going with today. And then I just have plain cotton for my interior. All right, so step one is going to be print out your petal design. If you don't have a printer, go ahead and hand draw it. And then also cut out your little template. There are 2 different sizes on there. And of course you can blow those up or shrink them if you wish. You are going to want to cut out 6. I'm just going to show you 4 because I used the other 2. But you're going to cut out 6 of your pasteboard petal shapes here. All right. You're going to want to cut out 3 silk and then 3 cotton. All right. Now, you can see there, I really rough cut these last night. All right. On your template, the solid line is for the pasteboard. The dotted line is for your fabric. If you're worried about getting a good covering of your pasteboard, of course, give yourself more seam allowance. All right, so once you get those pieces cut out, I want you to use your favorite technique from Fanciful Utility to cover each of the pieces of pasteboard, okay? You're covering 3 with silk and 3 with cotton. So I have silk and I have cotton, all right? So you're gonna pair them up once they're covered. So there's my silk, here's my cotton, and I've paired them up. And I am just overcasting these together as tight as I can. All right. Clara is now on the floor shredding the paper. Now, Lydia Child did talk about binding these. So if you wish, you can use a ribbon or a bias silk to bind the edges as well. And that will give you an additional decorative edge. All right. So I'm just quickly covering these. And I think today we're just going to go as far as getting these covered. Tomorrow, we'll put them together. Yep, that's the big truck outside. I don't know if that sound seems as loud to you as it does to me. Alrighty. I am going to have to make a point to get some more floral designs for this. Now, of course, it doesn't have to be done in silk. These would look really pretty in some nice bright cottons. Picturing some of the Christmas fabrics with poinsettias. I wonder if you could get some of the bird prints, yeah, with the cute little cardinals and center them. That would be adorable. If you could center a bird or an animal on each one, or a flower on each one. Now for period trims, you're pretty much looking at sotache, some braids, and ribbon. Of course, the sky's the limit if you're going to make these for another purpose. I could see some narrow rickrack on some of these. It could be cute. All right, so there's my first one. And I do have these at a slight angle. Originally I was thinking, oh, I can line up the stripes. I doubt that's going to happen. And that's what it looks like as it bends. Okay, so that's that bend of that lighter weight pasteboard. Oh, goodness. Just after doing that, it's automatically bending. All right, so that's the first step of that. Go ahead and cover all 3 sets, all 3 pairs, and tomorrow we will put them together, okay? Have a good day, everyone. Bye-bye.